Hello, and welcome to this Wilson Prep video, a guide to SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA is a topic that now appears on both the SAT and ACT exams. It is also one of the more advanced topics you will encounter. But here's the good news. Once understood, the SOHCAHTOA questions on the exams are really easy to answer because you'll be using the same process over and over again. Before we start tackling SOHCAHTOA, we first must be able to properly identify and label the sides of a right triangle. Remember, in order to use SOHCAHTOA, you must have a right triangle. SOHCAHTOA will not work on any other kind of triangle, so if you come across a SOHCAHTOA question on your exam, make sure to draw a right triangle if one isn't provided. Just as a small reminder, a right triangle is any triangle that contains a right angle. To identify the sides of a right triangle, it is always best to start with the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the longest side of the triangle, the side across from the right angle. This never changes, which is why the hypotenuse is the easiest side to locate. The opposite and adjacent sides vary based on which angle you are working with in the problem. The opposite side is across from the given angle. The adjacent side is next to the angle being used. It forms one side of the angle. The hypotenuse forms the other. For example, if we were given the bottom right angle, the vertical leg would be the opposite side, and the horizontal leg would be the adjacent side. Now we'll start at the beginning. What is SOHCAHTOA? For those unfamiliar, SOHCAHTOA is an acronym to help you memorize the definitions of the three trigonometric functions, sine, cosine, and tangent. In fact, that is what the first letter of each small segment stands for: sine, cosine, and tangent. The other letters refer to the different sides of the triangle: O for opposite, A for adjacent, and H for hypotenuse. If you examine the acronym further, you'll realize that each small segment is more than just a list of words. Each segment represents an equation. The first letter is equal to the second letter over the third letter. By following this process, SO tells you that sine is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. CAH means that cosine is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And finally, TOA becomes tangent equal to the opposite over the adjacent. Once memorized, using SOHCAHTOA in a problem is a quick and easy process. Here are the 5 steps you'll go through every time you encounter a SOHCAHTOA problem. The first step is to identify the angle in use. This is either the angle given in the problem or the angle being solved for. Number 2, label the sides of the triangle as either hypotenuse, opposite, or adjacent. Number 3, identify the 2 sides in use. At least one of the sides will be given. The second side may be given or may be the thing you must solve for. Number 4, plug in the correct values into the correct equation. Here we are using opposite and hypotenuse, which tells us to use sine. The angle always follows sine, cosine, or tangent. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, which in this case is the unknown side, or x, over 8. Number 5, solve. To solve SOHCAHTOA problems, you will most likely have to put the sine, cosine, or tangent value over 1 and cross multiply. In this problem, that would leave you with 8 sine 35 equals x. This form will either be written in the answer choices, or you'll simply have to plug this into your calculator to find the final answer. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you have a better understanding about how best to tackle the SOHCAHTOA problems on the 2 exams. Make sure to check out our channel for other helpful strategies and how-to videos. Go to www.wilsondailyprep.com for more online test prep, including daily SAT and ACT practice questions. Daily practice is the key to testing success.